before all this, Sony never seemed to have an issue, right? It's not like they were putting on the brakes so that Xbox could catch up when they were leading the pack by a significant margin back in the day. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So another day, another entry into the Sony versus Xbox drama. New filings have been made, and in these, Sony is desperately trying to plead their case for putting the kibosh on the Activision and Microsoft deal. But with the dirty tricks that Sony has pulled, I'm finding it really hard to get behind them. But I have the article pulled up. Let's take a look and we'll talk after. So this one's coming from IGN. Sony, Xbox's Call of Duty offer will irreparably harm competition, by Logan Plant. And I got to give him some big ups for this one. He did a really good job making it concise and easy to get through. Sony is claiming it's not happy with Microsoft's latest Call of Duty offer, as the company said it would irreparably harm competition and innovation. Earlier this week, reports filed from Sony and Microsoft to the UK's Competition and Markets Authority went public. From these documents, we learned that Microsoft is confident it can get Call of Duty running on Switch, which is really cool, and that Sony is worried Xbox will find ways to sabotage Call of Duty on PlayStation. And, you know, the way Sony's going about this, it really sounds like, you know, they're accusing Microsoft of something that they are themselves doing. It's the doth protest too much type situation. I wish they would just, you know, calm down. They're really looking desperate and guilty, kind of. I hate to say it like that because they're not the one that's you know, quote unquote on trial right now. It's supposed to be Microsoft, but golly, Sony looks so bad right now. Also in these documents, however, were redacted details about Microsoft's proposals to Sony to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next decade. In a statement regarding these documents, Sony claimed that the 10-year deal in its current state would be bad for competition. Redacted versions of the observations filed by the SIE and Microsoft on the CMA's remedies notice were made public this week. Sony wrote in a statement to GameIndustry.biz, information regarding the terms of an offer made by Microsoft to provide future Call of Duty releases on PlayStation was redacted at the request of Microsoft. We believe their current offer will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. Wow, I mean, that is a huge claim for, you know, one game. That's huge, you know. Not unless they're talking about Activision Blizzard as a whole, but their main focus seems to be Call of Duty. Some of Sony's listed concerns included Microsoft raising the price of Call of Duty on PlayStation, lowering the quality of the PlayStation version, not investing in the multiplayer experience on PlayStation, or making Call of Duty available only on Game Pass, which they already said they wouldn't do. I'm sure you would be able to kind of, like, when they go here, lowering the quality of the PlayStation version, I'm sure they would be able to see the difference. You know, if I were them, if there was such a huge concern, that would be one of the things I would do, test the quality between the two. And if it was an issue, then bring it up, you know, which I mean, I'm going to admit that is a problem. If Microsoft would do that and, you know, not invest in the multiplayer experience on PlayStation, those two, you know, would be an issue, but I don't really see Microsoft doing that. This new statement from Sony is the latest entry into PlayStation's ongoing opposition of Microsoft's attempts to push its acquisition of Activision Blizzard through. The year-long battle has included Microsoft calling PlayStation too big to fail, and comparing Sony to Blockbuster, which is a contradiction. I mean, because obviously Blockbuster wasn't too big to fail. Them calling PlayStation too big to fail and comparing Sony to Blockbuster, yeah, that seems really silly to say. Meanwhile, Sony has said Battlefield can't keep up with Call of Duty and claimed that Game Pass leads PlayStation Plus significantly. And before all this, Sony never seemed to have an issue, right? It's not like they were putting on the brakes so that Xbox could catch up when they were leading the pack by a significant margin back in the day. So I don't see what the problem is. But anyway, if Sony really believes that this deal would turn Microsoft or, Xbox into a monopoly in the gaming space, then it might be time for Sony to, do something to compete with Call of Duty or, Activision Blizzard. If they feel that Battlefield is not up there to the level with Call of Duty, then maybe it's time to tweak it and make it better for players so that they could bring in more people to play. But if they don't think that is a viable option, then maybe it's time to scrap the entire thing and go back to the drawing board and build a real competitor for Call of Duty. And I find it really hard to believe that not having Call of Duty will prevent them from being a major player in the console wars. But that's all I've got for you today. Thank you guys for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or you found it informative. And don't forget to share it out. There should be another video popping up. And in the meantime, keep it casual. Peace.